Hey folks, so this is about how to make this neon sign, and I want to show you the one I kind of messed around and put together. I got Power Teacher open. Let me go to this instead. There you go. I put this one together, um, and I want to close that off so I can see it. I put this one together this morning during my first period class when I was trying to get some people introduced to the idea of making sweeps. What I did was my first instinct was to try to make my letters like freehand and not mess around, but I could not figure out a good way to do it. So I went and Googled what neon letters could look like, and this is the image I've settled on. And I went and I modified H and R are two of my initials, so I modified the H and the R slightly so that I could make this this HRH. That's my initials right now. That's that I made. So H and R and H. So the R is not turned quite the same way as the R in this picture was, but it's my initials. And if you want to see what the sketch was, I made an initial sketch. I'll move this so you can see it. And I just used straight lines and I used tangent arcs. I made straight lines, tangent arcs, straight line, tangent arcs, straight line, tangent arcs. And I just went along like that. And if you want to, I can, hold on, let me go back through what I was doing. I was changing the colors and making all the different sweeps and everything. All right, so the first sketch, I'll go back to the end again. There it is. Okay, never mind. I guess I can't really show what I did, but I can show you kind of how it started. This is what it started like. I went and I said, all right, I'm going to have, on the front plane, I'm going to have a sketch. It's going to start with a straight line. And I want to say I went straight down. Yeah, that first line I went straight down. So I made a line segment that went straight down to there. I went over here, I grabbed tangent arc. If I have a tangent arc, then no matter how it comes off, it's going to be tangent to that line there. Then I swooped around and I tried to make this part horizontal like that, so it's a complete semicircle at the bottom, which is cool because that's what that guy is, and the top up there is also. I wasn't sure how the sweep would take those harsh corners, so I went up, I did another tangent arc, and I tried to make it kind of so it's vertical to the center point. It didn't work out the first time I tried it. I had to go in and constrain it to be vertical there. Oops. And that line automatically went tangent to that arc chunk, so I'll fix that in a second. Another arc chunk. Oh, that's a really, hold on, that's not a good one. Let's make it so it's kind of pointing up. Another arc chunk. Another line segment that's vertical, cool. Another arc chunk at the top there, make it kind of half circle, and another line chunk. Now the dimensions I used to kind of make it look good, I had it like 0.75 here, and my radii I had as 0.05. And this guy here was 0.3, I think. And at this point, like everything else, I can match up to something else. Hold on, I don't want that. I did want to constrain, let's see, vertical constraint for the center point and that end point there, and that'll make that horizontal. This does not look like it's exactly right anymore. Like this, if it's horizontal here, it's going to be tangent correctly right there and underneath. So I need to make this horizontal right here. And then everything else should be good. I'm going to go through and make some of these things the same length as each other using equal. So the 0.75, this guy and that guy are going to be the same length. My 0.3 is going to be the same as that one and that one. And my radius here isn't the same. My radius here is going to be the same. Radius here is the same. It's mostly constrained. I'm not entirely sure how to fix the fact that this line here is not constrained. But there is a path. And that's kind of the shape of this H right here. And then, since that is in the front plane, it is like this. I need a piece, this first line's going up like that, so I need a piece that's kind of flat like that. My profile is going to be on the plane that's like this. So currently that's my top plane. And the good, awesome, cool thing about starting it at the origin is that origin is in both the front plane and the top plane. And it's also in the right plane as well. So if I need to use anything that has like a perpendicularity to it, Origin's a great place to start. If I hadn't started there, I could have made an offset plane to draw on. Like if I wanted to start from, let me use this as an example, this point here as an example. I need a plane that is the same directions as top plane. So if I were to make a plane, and the entity I'm going to pick is my top plane. Oops, not the front plane. Top plane. There we go. Sometimes I have to click it over there. Instead of offset, I'm going to go through a point, so plane point. That was right here in the drop-down menu. And I can pick that bottom point there. And it'll put a plane that is perpendicular to my drawing at that location. And then that's the plane I would have used to make a profile to sweep that whole thing. I don't need that though, so I'm going to take that away. All right, I'm going to make my sketch on the top plane. And I'm going to center it at the origin because that's where my line is starting. That goes in this direction now, straight into the screen. Put a circle here. And let's make the diameter 0.04 because my radii are 0.05. That's a little smaller. It'll be small enough to go through there. Green check it. If you can see now, this circle, let me center it. This circle is on a plane that is in this direction, whereas my drawing is in this direction. So I have 90 degrees between the two. And importantly, it is perpendicular in both directions to the line that's coming into it. All right, sweeping. I'm going to grab this circle and then the sweep path. Since I have lines and curves, arcs there, I'm going to have to click the lines and the curves kind of in order for it to follow along. And there is how you get it through that part of it. Now, if you look at the other part studio that I had this done in, where's 2? There it's 2. So you see how here I've got a purple chunk and then I've got it turned to black. And that's kind of like when you have a neon sign. The neon only shows up in the parts it wants to see, but it's all one tube, twisted and connected. It's just got dark spots that are not lit between the letters. So what I did for that is after this first sweep, well, first of all, what I did is I made my sketch 1. My sketch has my H, it has an R, and it has another H over there. And then I went and I connected with little tiny arcs, the H end to the R start, and the R end to the next H start. So I have all those lines. And I did sweep 1. Sweep 1 was just the H. Then I did sweep 2, and for sweep 2, I picked the surface at the end of that H, the surface right there. It's the same profile shape as the one at the top over here, because it's just been swept along. And now what I'm going to do is I click New, so it's going to be a different part. If you notice in my part list, that becomes part 2. And I just picked the edges of everything that wasn't the H and that wasn't the R, just all in a row. And then later on, I changed the color of them to be black. Because if you did it originally, it would have been colored like, let me see if I can get back to the place before I colored them. Any different colors. I made purple, and that was too bright of a purple. So you can see I've got like a blue, a gray, a darker blue, a grayish, and a lightish bluish. It's not quite the same shade. None of them are quite the same shades. All you have to do is right-click and edit the appearance of each part. And that's what I did. I made them purples because purple's the best color. Black because there's no light going through those spots. And then I was like, that's kind of dark. So I made them kind of this lighter purple that you see. Okay. If you want to, this, golly, where did this come from? I just Googled neon sign letters and like you can pick something like this, but that's obviously just someone's drawn it with that tool where it's brighter in the middle and goes to color on the outer edges of the tool as you make your line segments and stuff. This one's like a cursive thing that it follows the whole way around. Now, we've discovered if you want to do something that looks like cursive, most people have been using that spline feature to try to do it. And the one person I had doing that today, I'm going to go back here and show you what's going to happen. So I'm going to make, let's hide this sweep. Can I hide this? Let's suppress it and hide both of these sketches. Actually, let's not hide this one because I'm going to want that. I'm going to make my sketch again on the front plane. And I'm going to start it here at this point. And I'm going to use spline. And maybe I'll make like a cursive M because that's kind of easy. So if I do spline, and then I start to curve at the top, and then I curve back down again, and then I go down to the same level, and I come up, and I make this sort of curve again. There we go. That works. It looks like an M. Maybe even if I run through, it'll be good. But let's say my next letter is, I don't know, E. So let me undo that spline and redo it. So I've got a spline, and let's say I'm going from M to E. Here's what the student was doing. Ooh, you might be able to see it here, actually. Yeah. Look right now, this part of the spline, the way I've tried to draw it, has actually looped over itself. Like, it's not just a line-ish thing, it's gone and looped in. So there's that loop right here, if you can see it. It crosses here, and it changes around here. Like, the fact that it goes and crosses over itself, it's not going to complete. Could not create spline through selected points. I hate splines. But if you do spline it, and you don't have it too far over here, then you should be able to get it to not overlap. Splines are kind of one of those things that, as far as I can tell, the math is too complicated for me to run in my head as I'm working on it. So it's like, I kind of have to guess and hope it works and looks right. It's not my favorite M, but it's an M. And if I were to take sketch 2, which is that circle there, and sweep that around my sweep path, I think I only have to click on the M itself. Yep, because that entire thing is one kind of brush stroke almost. So click that guy, and you've got, ooh, it's going to take a minute. Oh, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? It might be because it intersects too much or it bends too much. It's giving it issues right here, like it doesn't like that. Do you see what it's trying to do? I don't understand, and I think that's where it gets hung up. So maybe spline is not the best way to go about this either. All right, annoying, 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 annoying. All right. So maybe find you some ways to do lines and curves, arcs, and do that instead of doing a spline. I'll mess around with splines more, but this video is getting too long already. I was hoping to give you guys just an idea of how to make this sort of thing, like a neon sign with your letters of your name. It would look cool if I can make the background a different color, like when the computers around here, the graphics cards start going out, the background turns black, and you wouldn't be able to see these two chunks that are dark here. You'd be able to see the brighter colors. I also was trying to figure out how to do something that emits light. Like this person did something that appears to be lit up. It doesn't look as good as it used to. I think it's having trouble rendering it. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad before. I think it's having trouble rendering things. Yeah. I'm going to pause this and upload it. If you have questions, guys, or if you're struggling a whole bunch with that, let me know. I'll talk to you later. Bye.